Hi, quick, Nick Namalita, and this is my channel, The Midnight Librarian, and today I'll be doing my May TBR. Before I get into my May TBR, however, I would like to point out that since the month of November, I have had links down in the description to support Palestine, but I've never actually talked about it, mostly because I was never sure how. I still don't really know how, but ultimately I would like to say that I am against what Israel is doing to Palestine. I'm against what the US has been supporting Israel and what they're doing to Palestine. The genocide, the ecocide. It's not okay. And just because I am saying that, and because I'm saying that I'm against what Israel is doing, does not mean I am critiquing the whole Jewish faith. Does not mean I am Zionist. It does not mean I agree with Hamas. I am just against genocide of anybody. Am I against ecocide of anyone's land? I am against the US giving money to support such deeds. Like, if you think that makes me a Zionist or anti-Jew or whatever, you know, clicking away from this video is free. I just felt like I really need to say that, and I feel like I need to talk about it. And it's a privilege to be able to say that it's not happening here so it doesn't affect me, or to be able to walk away from the news or anything because I can't handle it in that situation. I can't handle that news right now. It is, and it is a lot. It is complicated, and I get that that whole history is complicated. But genocide and ecocide, that's not okay in any capacity. I will continue to have how to support Palestine links in my description down below if you ever do want to check them out. If there's ones that need to be updated, or if there's better ones that I can better help support, please let me know. I'm one person. I'm trying to do my due diligence and do my research. However, I am human and I do make mistakes, so my apologies. I needed to say that. Let's go ahead and get into my TBR for the month of May. I was hoping to participate in a readathon, and May the Force Read with You is happening in the month of May, as May 4th is Star Wars Day. So that is being hosted by Breakeven Books, who I will have listed down in the description down below if you want to go check them out. Highly suggest it. It sounds like it's going to be a really fun readathon. However, they have changed it up a bit in terms it's more of an RPG type deal where you can kind of create and choose your characters based off prompts that you want to read. And that's perfectly fine. I get it. A lot of work has gone into this. However, it's very much mimicking the magical readathon, and I didn't do the spring equinox because I didn't want to deal with the complexity of that. So it's kind of the same with May the Force Read with You. I don't know, I was kind of looking for something else, I guess. So I'm perfectly happy just doing my TBR based off my Pokemon cards. So if you don't know, I will have a link above as well as down below, but basically I have Pokemon booster packs, and each Pokemon type I have a prompt attached to, and that helps me choose my Pokemon, or choose my TBR for the month. So for this month, we will be going with Evolving Skies, and just trying to think about my goals. I am a couple books, like 1 or 2 books behind in terms of book of the month, and my 2024, as well as my Indigenous authored reads. But ultimately, I'm still feeling pretty good. It is only the 23rd. I am filming this a bit early, so hopefully I will still be in the mood for these books that I choose right now come May. Not that I've ever really wholeheartedly stuck with my TBR for the month. It is just suggestions for me to choose from when I am looking for something to read. I am very much a mood reader, so I'm not set in stone. And there's a couple of books like I would like to get to. I do want to try to focus more on physical books. I have been, I think, so far doing great in terms of audiobooks and books from the library or Libby. But physical books I'm having a problem with. But I'm not going to force myself, because particularly when it comes to May, as the end of the semester is coming up. I am not a student right now, but I do support students, so I understand. Finals is always kind of stressful, and particularly right now it's a little stressful because there have been protests on our university. It's just a lot. So we'll see which books I end up choosing. I kind of want to go on the lighter side, but I know there's a couple ones that I would like to get to that have some heavier topics in it. So we'll see. So let's go ahead with the first one. Oops, that is upside down. That is Golduck, which is the evolved form of Psyduck. So it's a water Pokemon, and water Pokemon is to read a book set on in a different country, continent, or planet. So I think for Golduck, I'm gonna go with The Last Russian Doll by Kristen Loesch. This is a book of the month book that I got in March of 2023. I no longer have a book of the month subscription, just due to financial reasons, but also I wasn't too enjoying it, but I do still have quite a bit of book of the month books that I would like to get through, so it's kind of my own personal challenge to try to read a book of the month a month. And I think I'm a book behind. So I'm gonna try with The Last Russian Doll. This for the month of May, and this one is a haunting epic novel about betrayal, revenge, and redemption that follows 3 generations of Russian women from the 1917 revolution to the last days of the Soviet Union, and the enduring love story at the center. Obviously kind of just like the sales pitch, but I kind of don't want to read anything further. I just kind of want to go in not knowing much else. So yeah, that's my choice for Golduck. Next, we have Palpitoad, which is a fighting Pokemon, and for fighting Pokemon is to read a book by an author that I've read from before. And for Palpitoad, I think I'm going to go with Nimona by N.D. Stevenson. I read N.D. Stevenson's graphic memoir and I thought it was really great, but have yet to read Nimona, which is a graphic novel following Nimona, who is a young shapeshifter. Nimona is an impulsive young shapeshifter for a knack of villainy. Lord Ballister Blackheart is a villain with a vendetta. As sidekicking and supervillain, Nimona and Lord Blackheart are about to wreak some serious havoc. Their mission to prove that to the kingdom that Sir Ambrosius Goldenlion and his buddies at the Institution of Law Enforcement and Heroics aren't the heroes everyone thinks they are. So that's my choice for this one. I think it'll be really fun. I haven't heard anything about the Netflix series in all honesty, but I have heard great things about the graphic novel, so that's what I'm hoping to do. I do have a physical copy of it. I just don't know where it is currently. Next we have Spirit Mask, which is a trainer card, and it's an item in particular. And for items, it's to read a library book. And for this, I'm going to go with the Anthropology of Turquoise, which I do have a physical copy of through Interlibrary Loan. It doesn't have the cover though, so that's why this is here. And basically this is a nonfiction. It's also on my 24 of 2024. What is it? I think it's just like a history of turquoise. Let's see, reflections on desert, sea, stone, and sky. This invigorating mix of natural history and adventure. Artist naturalist Ellen Malloy uses turquoise, the color and the gem, to probe deeper into our profound human attachment to landscape. From the Sierra Nevada to the Mojave Desert, the Yucatan Peninsula, and the Bahamas, to her home on the ground high plateaus of deep canyons of the Southwest, we journey with Malloy through vistas of both great beauty and great desecration. Her keen vision make us look anew at ancestral mountains, turquoise seas, and even motel swimming pools. So I'm fairly curious about this. So I said it was a 24 of 2024, and basically those are randomized through my Goodreads. So I'm really curious about this. So hopefully that's my pick for Spirit Mask. Next, this is an energy card, and with energy cards it's to choose a book with the color on the cover that matches the energy card color. So for this, any kind of blue. So the book I picked for this water energy card I actually just kind of picked because the cover kind of struck out to me, but I think I've had this book for a while. But that is The Hoarder by Jess Kidd. I think the cover is absolutely beautiful. There are some blue illustrations on what looks like wallpaper. I've read Jess Kidd before. I'm trying to remember. Yes, I've read Things in Jars, which I enjoyed, which was another book of the month book from a while ago, and The Night Ship, which was also really interesting. I didn't like it as much as I liked Things in Jars, but I still kind of want a copy of it. One was published in 2018, and we're following Maud Drennan. Underpaid carer and unintentional sidekick is the latest in a long line of dogs bodies for the ancient belligerent Cathal flood. Yet despite her best efforts, Maud finds herself drawn into the mysteries concealed in his filthy once grand home. She realizes that something is changing. Cathal, the junk-filled rooms, are opening up to her. With only her agoraphobic landlady and a troupe of sarcastic ghostly saints to help, Maud must uncover what lies beneath Cathal's decades-old hostility and the strange activities of the house itself. And if someone has hidden a secret there, how far will they go to ensure it remains buried? So with Jess Kidd, I'm finding it's a bit historical, but a bit magical realism. It's always kind of odd. So I'm very curious about this. It's been, like I said, on my TBR. It's been on my physical shelves for a bit, so I think that's what I'm choosing for this water. Next. We have Stoutland, which is the evolved form of Herdier. This is a normal Pokemon, so it's to read a contemporary. So for Stoutland, which is to read a contemporary, I think I want to finish up We Are in the Middle of Forever. I did find this as an audiobook through Libro, and I've been listening to it off and on. And I think I have about like 4 hours left, so I think that's what I want to do. But basically, this is Indigenous voices from Turtle Island on the Changing Earth, edited by Dar Jamal and Stan Rushworth. So basically, they are interviewing Indigenous people who are on Turtle Island that have had relatively strong voices when it comes to climate change, and particularly after the effect of what happened with COVID. So far, it's been really interesting. There have been a few of them that I wasn't as connected to, but it's been an interesting read so far. So I think, I want to be able to finish this up in the month of May. Next. This is Hypno, which is the evolved form of Drowsy, a psychic Pokemon, so to read a thriller. And this is a reverse holo. And a reverse holo is to read a backlist. And so for Hypno, I'm going to go ahead and go with another 2024 pick for this year, and that is House of Holo by Crystal Sutherland. So that's my choice for Hypno. Next. This is Woobat, which is another psychic, so it's another thriller. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to choose a horror that has thriller elements to it. And this one is Sisters of the Lost Nation by Nick Medina. This one is Nick Medina's debut novel. It is actually the Literally Dead book club pick for the month of May, which I think is perfect because this has to deal with missing and murdered Indigenous people, and that May is the awareness month for that. Not that it should just strictly be May. You should always bring awareness to missing and murdered Indigenous people, get justice for them, as they're so often left out of not only like public media attention, but they're also a lot of times just kind of forgotten about, as well as not looked into as heavily as non-Indigenous people. So in this book, Sisters of the Lost Nation, we are following Anna Horn, who is always looking over her shoulders for the boys who torment her, for the entitled visitors at the reservation's casino, and for the nameless disembodied entity that stalks her every step. An ancient tribal myth come to life, one that's intent on devouring her whole. With the strange and sinister happenings occurring around the casino, Anna starts to suspect that not all horrors on the reservation are old. As girls begin to go missing and the tribe scrambles to find answers, Anna struggles with her place on the res, desperately searching for the key she sure lies in the legends of her tribe's past. So I think this one will be really impactful. It's one that I've been wanting to get to. I do have Nick Medina's sophomore book on my 24 of 2024, but do want to get to Sisters of a Lost Nation first, so that is my selection for Woobat. This is Scraggy, which is a horror book, or dark Pokemon, and so it's to read a horror book. I said I wanted it light, but this one's listed as thriller with horror elements to it, but you know what, you get it. So for Scraggy, I'm going to go with Delicious Monsters by Liselle Sambury. This one is The Haunting of Hill House meets Sadie, which I haven't read either, so that's not helpful. Daisy sees dead people, something impossible to forget in bustling ghost-packed Toronto. She usually manages to deal with her unwanted ability, but she's completely unprepared to be dumped by her boyfriend. So when her mother inherits a secluded mansion in northern Ontario, where she spent her childhood summers, Daisy jumps at the chance to escape. But the house is nothing like Daisy expects, and she begins to realize that her experience with the supernatural might be no match for her mother's secrets, nor what lurks within these walls. That's all I know. That's all I really want to know. This is another one that I have through Libby, so I'm pretty excited. I had actually wanted it. I think I had this on my TBR in March, and wasn't able to get the hold in time. So now that I have it, I'm hoping to get to it this time. Next. Just all the thrillers and horrors this month. We have Drowsy, which is a psychic, which is to read a thriller. Okay, so for Drowsy, I'm going to go with a book that has also been on my TBR for a bit, and I just kind of chose it to try to get it off my TBR. But that is The Ballerinas by Rachel Kapelke Dale. Cover that I actually really like. I really enjoy this. But this is a thriller mystery. And let's see, ballerinas are like point, shoot, point. I'm sure that's French, and no. Shoes, you have to break them down before they're of any use. 13 years ago, Delphine Leger abandoned her prestigious soloist spot at the Paris Opera Ballet for a new life in St. Petersburg, taking with her a secret that could upend the lives of her best friends, fellow dancers Lindsay and Margot. Now 36 years old, Delphine has returned to her former home and to the legendary Palais Garnier opera house to choreograph the ballet that will kickstart the next phase of her career, and she hopes to finally make things right with her former friends. But Delphine quickly discovers that things have changed while she's been away, and some secrets can't stay buried forever. So that's all I know. That's all I really want to know. So yeah, that's my choice for Drowsy. Next. This is Bergamite, which is a water Pokemon, which is to read a book that is set in a different country, continent, or planet. So for Bergamite, I'm going to choose Lagoon by Ennedi Okorafor. I absolutely love this cover. I believe this was brought to my attention by Bear from Ed to Brody, who I have linked down below if you haven't checked them out. A star falls from the sky. A woman rises from the sea. The world will never be the same. Three strangers, each isolated by his or her own problems. Adora, the marine biologist. Anthony, the world's famous rapper. Agu, the troubled soldier. Wandering the beach outside Lagos, Nigeria's capital city, they're more alone than they've ever been before. But when a meteorite hits the ocean and a tidal wave overcomes them, these three people will find themselves bound together in ways they've never imagined. Together with Ayodel, a visitor from beyond the stars, they must race through Lagos and against time itself in order to save the city, the world, and themselves. So, yeah, my choice for that. And my last one, and this is Petalil, which is a grass type Pokemon, and that is to read a book with some kind of botanical element on the cover. And for this, I kind of want to go with another nonfiction, and that is going to be The Core of an Onion. Peeling the Rarest Common Food, featuring more than 100 historical recipes by Mark Kurlansky. I've currently been gardening and have been planting onions and have been wanting to learn more about them, so I think this is perfect. I got this relatively recently and had it in my last book haul, I believe. It's relatively short. I've just been curious about onions, and I think this will help. So yeah, mostly because, yeah, I don't think it'll necessarily help me in terms of my gardening, but in general, I think it'll be a general curiosity, so I think it'll be really fun. So these are the physical books that I have for my May TBR, and then my audiobooks as well. Have you read any of these? What were your thoughts on them? Please leave them in the comments. Please, no spoilers. Otherwise, yeah, I hope that you are in the mental mindset to enjoy your reading. If you're, let's see, let's go ahead and put, I mean, I did this when I first hauled the Core of an Onion, but let's go ahead and do it again and put the onion emoji. Otherwise, make sure to like, subscribe if you have yet to do so, and I will see you in another video very soon. Chew.